It presents us with severe methodological problems, for we do not know just how to study a matter which shows up in the material world, but does not seem to be of that world. We use clinical approaches to explore the subjective experiences of abductees, paying particular attention to their authenticity, power, and consistency, and to the reliability and honesty of the witnesses. At the same time, we gather objective evidence, such as small lesions on experiencers' bodies, implants removed from under the skin, correlating multiple witness abduction accounts and concurrent reports of UFOs and their traces observed independently in the experiencers' community. Yet, all this leaves us strangely dissatisfied. The physical evidence, though real and even sometimes dramatic, is usually too thin or elusive to satisfy the criteria of the natural sciences, and thus often does little more than corroborate the reported experiences. Harper even suggests that this elusiveness is characteristic of daimonic reality. No matter how many links are posited between the material and spirit worlds, writes Harper, there will always be a point of discontinuity at which the spiritual ceases to be spiritual and becomes material, and vice versa. What, then, is the most useful way to explore a reality such as the alien abduction phenomenon? The odd combination of conscientious clinical, intersubjective, and empirical study which has taken place so far has yielded a great deal of information and has caught the public, if not the scientific, imagination. But something else is called for, I think, which could, over time, exponentially increase our understanding of this subject, namely the recognition of a deep-seated resistance in mainstream Western culture to even considering that there could be phenomena that originate in the unseen or spirit world and cross over and manifest in the material world. For our so-called materialist paradigm, like any worldview, determines what it is possible for us to see. We need to understand much more fully the source of this resistance, which derives from a deep and intense attachment to our dominant worldview, and honor its presence when we address audiences that are not open to the reality of the phenomenon. Unless we recognize and dialogue with the ontological dissonance that exists between the abduction investigators and the audiences we hope to reach, the marginality of this field is likely to persist. February 24th, 1997. Preface to the Revised Edition. The publication of the hardcover edition of this book in April 1994 met with a strong response, both supportive and critical. I would like to take the opportunity of the paperback publication to express my appreciation to those who are open to what I have been learning. But I also feel that it is important to address some of the criticisms I have received, especially the charge that the work is an example of a kind of cult of irrationality, an exercise in anti-science and unreason. Upon reviewing the text of the book with the help of colleagues, it is apparent that my growing conviction about the authenticity of these reports, together with a sense of their great potential significance, resulted in a tendency to write as if the fact or reality of the experiences was established before the case had been made. In so doing, I may have denied some readers, especially those who would be naturally skeptical, the opportunity to make up their own minds. In this revised edition, I have altered the language in specific places to make clear that I am reporting the experiences of the abductees as told to me, and not presuming that everything they say is literally true. Whether or not each of their communications is recorded with qualifying words like reported that or according to, the objective distance between me and the experiences implicit in such phrases should be understood throughout the text. Basic clinical scientific questions that have been raised, such as the status of physical evidence, the role of subject expectation or investigator influence, the reliability of memory, the accuracy of hypnosis, and the possibility of alternative explanations have been addressed in Appendix A. Finally, in order to improve the book's readability, the historical and cross-cultural sections have been moved to the back, Appendix B, and the opening sections that contain my introduction and first reactions to learning about the abduction phenomenon have been streamlined. The most archetypal expression of the cry of anti-science came from science writer James Gleick in a review in the New Republic magazine. Gleick called the, quote, alien abduction mythology a leading case of the anti-rational, anti-science cults that are flourishing with dismaying vigor in the United States.